This episode of the Wisconsin Motor Carriers Association podcast is brought to you by CLA. As one of the nation's leading professional service firms, CLA helps organizations turn opportunity into action with advisory, digital, audit, tax, and outsourcing services. Whether you're growing your business, tackling new challenges, or planning for what's next, CLA brings industry-specific knowledge and practical guidance to support your goals. Learn more at claconnect.com, and our thanks to CLA for supporting this podcast. Okay, we are ready to go with the Wisconsin Motor Carriers Association podcast, the road ahead for August. Wow, it's the end of August. It's almost pumpkin spice time. If you can believe that.
Paige just told me there was pumpkin at Dunkin' Spice today, so she's
here
excited.
We go. I mean, it's still really warm out, but it's going to be fall soon, and we've got a lot of things going on. Obviously, here at the Motor Carriers Association, we just finished with a lot of our events: Brewers Tailgate Party, National Truck Driving Championship, golf outings, and we're moving into our convention and a few other things. But what we're going to talk about today is really near and dear to all of us here at the Wisconsin Motor Carriers Association. First of all, I'm Dan Johnson. I'm the president of the Motor Carriers Association, and joining me today is the great and powerful Kim Conradt, our safety programs director. We usually have a guest speaker or guest host, but we decided this time we were going to do something here in-house and talk about something that's probably the most important thing to us, and that's the driver. The Wisconsin American truck driver, and what we try to do for them every day, every week, every month, and every year to show our appreciation for them. So this podcast, we're going to talk about a few things related to our truck drivers. We're going to talk about Truck Driver Appreciation Week, which is coming up in a couple of weeks, and we've got a recap of our National Truck Driving Championship, which was amazing, and our Thank a Trucker program, which we've been doing for the last 5 years. So, the Truck Driver Appreciation Week started in 1988, and it's so we're coming up on 40 years almost with National Truck Driver.
When you hear National Truck Driving Appreciation Week, what comes into your mind?
Well, it's unfortunate that we have to just only one week.
Only one
right?
week. That's what comes into my mind.
I mean, it should be every single day. And I think a lot of people do take truck drivers for granted. They see trucks rolling down the road and they forget that there's a father, a mother, even a husband, a wife, a brother, a son behind that wheel that's doing their job every single day in all sorts of tough conditions, weather, distracted drivers, other drivers, construction, accidents, it's daytime, nighttime, it never stops for them. And we just sort of take it for granted, those of us here on the consumer side, that when we order something, that when we purchase something, that it's just going to magically appear at our home. And that's really not the case. There's a significant process to get that piece of merchandise from market to consumer. And the truck driver is the most important part of that. And
boy, didn't the world find out about that when they didn't have toilet paper in 2020?
Right.
That's the one time that everybody really appreciated the drivers.
Yeah.
And I would have media call and ask to talk to our road team captains, and I would tell them, you're seeing it now, but I see it 365, 24/7 every day, that we need to appreciate these guys who are out there, snow, sleet, Christmas, everything.
Yeah.
None of us even here would have jobs without drivers.
Well, right. I mean, a lot of people wouldn't have jobs without drivers, quite frankly. They touch just about every single industry, whether it's construction, manufacturing, hospitals. I mean, all these things need to be delivered that those industries need to be delivered by truck.
So an Uber driver last week in Pittsburgh asked why we were out there, and we were out there for the National Truck Driving Championship, and he was like, "Oh, the big trucks? I don't like them at all. They drive too fast, blah, blah, blah." I said, "Do you like all the stuff in your house? Do you like your clothes that you're wearing? Do you like all the food that you eat?" Because everything was brought by a truck. And then he says, "Well, what about trains and what about boats? How do you think How do you think the stuff gets from the boat to the train or the train to the store? Everything is touched by a truck.
Well, and the train, the boat, I mean, that is such a small percentage of how goods are moved across this country.
Needless to say, there was not a very good tip left for them.
Well, and you talk about, the driver, the misperception that the driver has, that the Uber driver had, that they're driving too fast. Well, we know that's not true. You go out on the interstate and take a look at who's actually driving too fast, right?
Exactly.
Who's causing all the accidents out there. The data just doesn't hold it where it's at. So National Truck Driver Appreciation Week, it's coming up. It's September 14th, starts Monday, September 14th, and it goes that whole week. And, we're doing some things here at the Wisconsin Motor Carriers Association, but we know that our companies, they're out there doing things for their drivers. They're taking that week to spend time with their drivers to, put on a luncheon for them or do some sort of presentations or certificates or just some special recognition that they're doing. We wish they could do it every single week, but of course they have a job to do. But it is something that it's so crucial to everything that we do every single day. And, again, we have to recognize these individuals who are really doing the job that most people don't want to do, quite frankly.
We started in 2021, we had a Thank a Trucker Day, and we called it 10-4 because It was October 4th.
Yep.
That was my quirky little thing for those of you who know me. So we did it October 4th, and everybody said, why aren't we doing something for driver appreciation? So we're going to try to move it to driver appreciation this week. But it is, all the drivers have to do is come to the truck stop. We see the truck, we give them we're out there saying thank you, and here's a card. I mean, when we first started it in 2021, we would have people come up to us and no, thank you, I'm not interested in Amway, or they thought we were trying to sell something instead of just giving them a gift
Bible.
card. Giving them a gift card, and one of the drivers went into Quick Trip where we do it and said, I'm not really sure, this lady in the parking lot gave me this card.
Right.
It might be good for something. I'm not sure. Because they're not used to having anybody just being nice to them and saying thank you.
Well, that's the thing with the truck drivers is they don't expect it.
No.
They do their job every single day in very tough conditions, and they really don't expect a thank you. So when they get a little something like what we've been doing, and just a little bit of history on that Thank a Trucker program that we started, and we started it really because of the pandemic.
Yeah, in 2020 we went to 6 different truck stops.
Yeah, and what we were hearing from drivers and from companies is that the truck stops were closed, the facilities were closed, the rest facilities were closed. They couldn't get a meal. And we're like, well, that's just unacceptable. I mean, it's just, this is not right. And as much as we would like to be out there every day doing that for them, quite frankly, we couldn't. But we did pick a day. We did pick October 4th, 10-4. And we started doing that. And, like you said, they don't expect it. They were a little surprised by it. But when we would talk to them and say, look, we're just glad that you're out here doing the job that you're doing, especially during the pandemic. I mean, that they were going into situations, into grocery stores, into hospitals. They might not have had the personal protection masks, and
they didn't even know about it.
They didn't. Right, and so they were exposed because they had to do their job. They can't work from home. They can't just click on their Zoom meeting and turn on their camera and go to work. It doesn't work that way for the truck driver.
I remember one driver. It was towards the end of May when we were doing them, because we did them throughout a couple months in the spring. It was end of May, and I talked to him. He hadn't been home since January because his normal home time would have been like 6 weeks or whatever. He was out for a while, and he was afraid to go home. His wife had some health issues, and he didn't want to go home, so he hadn't been home from January to the end of May.
Wow.
And he was just going to go home that next week, and he was a little scared, a little nervous, but he just wanted to go home, and he'd been out on the road that whole time, doing the job, wanting to take care of the people out there, and also worrying about his family at home. And I was so moved by it. I still hear that story in my head all the time.
Yeah. And, Kim, obviously you have experience. You were a truck driver.
Yeah, well, not like full time.
Okay.
Because even I'm not that crazy. No, you guys, they do so. But no, I had my own trucking company. I was grandfathered in for my CDL.
Right.
Been on the road. Know exactly. Not not to the point what they do all day, every day, because I could say, no, now I'm going to go back into the office and work, but they don't have that choice.
Yeah.
I mean, even one owner-operator at that time, he was out, and I said, how's everything going? And he said, well, if I just make it through my cancer treatment. And I'm like, you're driving and you're taking cancer treatment? He said, just because I have cancer doesn't mean the truck payment doesn't stop.
Right.
So, I mean, people don't see that side to them.
Right.
It's so heartbreaking to me because I have a huge passion for the industry, for the drivers, what they're going through, their families at home, that they go through a lot too. They're tying down everything at home. So it's not just driver appreciation. It's like thank the families for letting us have their drivers.
Yeah, I mean, you've been able to really humanize a lot of what we do here at the association. It's like I said, it's not just these big trucks rolling 80,000-pound vehicles rolling down the highway. There is a man or woman behind that wheel, and every one of them has a story. And as you're just sort of laying out there, some of them are heartbreaking, but yet they still do their job. And why? Because they're professionals. They're professional truck drivers, and they do things that, quite frankly, a lot of people would not be able to do. And so we're going to appreciate them. We appreciate them every single day. But on September 14th, we're going to go out. We'll be at the Quick Trip in Kenosha and the Quick Trip in Richfield.
Yes.
And we're going to split up. We've got our $10 gift cards to get out to our drivers.
Came yesterday.
Okay, so we're good. So we'll be out there, and we'll be giving them the $10 gift cards, shaking hands, and just talking to our drivers, and just simply telling them thank you. I mean, really, that's what they want to hear.
So, Dan, when you think about a professional driver, what does that term actually mean to you? And is it just about safely operating a truck, or do you think there's a lot more to it?
It's a culture. It's a culture of professionalism. It's not just, they don't just jump into their cab and go. I was talking to my wife about this years ago, and I was explaining to her all of the things that truck drivers had to do before they actually started driving, the pre-inspection, all the safety checks that they have to do, and everything that they've got on board while they're driving. And she said to me something kind of prophetic. She said, they sound like a commercial airline pilot. And I said, yeah, that's a very good analogy. If people looked at truck drivers the way that they look at airline pilots, you see an airline
100%.
pilot walking through the air, you're like, whoa, that's a professional. And we feel the same way about our truck drivers. I mean, obviously they're not up in the air, they're on the ground, but they are moving across the country day in and day out. And they are under very strict regulations, both state and national, and of course their companies too have them under certain regulations. They're inspected constantly. They're being watched constantly. They're under way more restrictions than any recreational driver might be, and they have to adhere to that. And we have drivers who have been doing it for decades that have logged millions, and I'm not exaggerating, millions of miles with no accidents, no infractions, no violations, no citations, no drunk driving.
Not even a seatbelt violation.
Not even a seatbelt violation. I mean, to maintain that standard for that long, like I said, that's a culture. That is something that a lot of us just simply don't understand. We get into our vehicle, we drive to work, and then we drive home, and that's about it. And then on the weekends, we drive around and we have fun. But the professional Wisconsin or American truck driver, they do it because that's how they pay the bills. That's how they put food on the table. That's how they put their kids through college. That's how they save for their retirement. So everything that they do has to be with a professional attitude, and just the personal characteristics that they carry. You know them, and we've met them. The lengths that these individuals will go to help their neighbor, to help their community. It's just astounding. These are, they have this job. They have this amazing job that they do, but they're also softball coaches, and they tutor and they mentor, and they give back at their church. When there's a crisis in their community, they're the first ones there, and they're always going to be there because that's who they are. When we say professional truck driver, that's who they are. They respond to these crisis situations, and they act accordingly. And when the rest of us kind of fold up and say, well, somebody else will do that, not the professional truck driver. They're going to be there for us.
You know, when I just started here, a trucking company I was at before, a driver's wife contacted me. The driver passed away in the cab of a truck in another state. They lived in Wisconsin, and the company wasn't paying to get the driver home, which that's a whole other story. But she reached out to me and she said, Kim, I don't know if you can help. So I reached out to a bunch of my drivers, old drivers, and said, can we get together and do something to get Gary home? And within less than 24 hours, I had $5,000 all donated between myself and these drivers. Some of them didn't even know him. Some of them knew him and said,
Right.
let's get him home.
Right.
And that's what these drivers do all the time. And
Right.
I don't think people realize that. That's the thing that bothers me so much. I'm preaching to when I'm talking to you, I'm preaching to the choir.
Right.
But out there, I'm like preaching to people. Don't you ever say anything bad about the drivers.
Yeah. And just, kind of wrap up this part of the podcast. When we do our annual safety banquet, we always have our highway heroes. Oh. And this is something that, again, people don't hear about. The driver probably doesn't even really talk about, right? He or she is not out there patting themselves on the back, but they do something. We learn of these stories, pulling somebody out of a burning vehicle, because they're out there on the road and they see these incidents at 3:00 in the morning and realize they're the only lifeline to that person. And they see a car in the ditch on fire and they pull out a woman and a small child. And then the rescue team shows up. But
then they continue on and deliver their freight on time.
Correct. And we showcase them, we highlight them. Again, they're not asking for it. They don't want it. It's just who they are. It's just what they do.
They're embarrassed by it.
A little bit.
Because their companies told us about them and
Right.
they kind of just wanted to not have it.
Right.
They've been told that it changed a couple people's lives.
Exactly.
They say thank you.
They save lives.
Oh, of course.
Again, people don't hear about it. People don't read about it. It's not on the social media. But the truck driver, they are out there. They're watching for these things. They see these things, and they often respond accordingly. And it's an amazing thing. I've heard some stories. I don't know if most of us would be able to pull together the courage to do the things that they have been able to do. I don't know. I mean, we don't know when we're tested like that. But these truck drivers, they're tested, and they have answered the call when they've been needed. So we appreciate our drivers. That's the bottom line. And we're looking forward to the National Truck Driver Appreciation Week, September 14th. And we're just letting the public know that, if you see a truck driver in your own way, let them know that you appreciate them. And that could be as simple as just sharing the road with them and just not having that perception that they're out there driving 100 miles an hour and just knocking everybody off the road. That is not who they are.
And they're not trying to hold you up in any way, shape, or form. They can't, at 80,000 pounds, they can't get up to speed like you can. Just give them a few minutes and they'll get on the ramp, off the ramp, and give them their space in the roundabouts.
Yep.
Always.
At CLA, we're in your corner and on it. We coach tax strategies and Little League first base. We help you adopt AI data tools, and we adopt rescues named Buddy. We walk your factory floor and jog the local 5K, though sometimes we walk that too. Wherever you're coming from, we're right there with you. Wherever you're going, we'll get you there. CLA, CPAs, consultants, and advisors. Learn more at claconnect.com/with-you.
So let's shift our focus to what you just got done doing, the National Truck Driving Championship, which was in Pittsburgh, PA. And we sent our team, was 8 drivers or 9 drivers?
9 drivers.
9 drivers. Who they kind of explain this. They compete here in Wisconsin against 100. I think we had about 100 drivers this time.
109, I think it was.
Yeah, so those 9 competed here at the state level, and they were the champion in their class. We had 9 different classes, and then those 9 individuals can go to the National Truck Driving Championship, which they just wrapped up a couple of weeks ago. Wisconsin was well represented. We did have some standout drivers there, but it's really to celebrate the drivers. And what was it, 429?
429 total drivers there from 49 states.
Yeah.
I can't remember the number of companies because there were some small companies, very large companies there. And it's, when you think about it, it's 429 of the best of the best.
Right.
You know, a lot of the drivers think that they can't compete because it's too hard, but it isn't. Once they're in, they're sucked in. That's
right.
for sure. And this year we had like two brand new guys who went to nationals. So when your first year that you compete at state, you're a rookie. And I had two rookies that went to nationals. And when you go to nationals as your first time at state, you're a rookie.
Yep.
And that person can get Rookie of the Year. And I have drivers say, don't call me a rookie. I'm like, no, that's a term of honor.
Yeah.
Because your first year competing, you're all the way to nationals with the elite drivers.
Right.
And so there was only a total of the 429. There was only a total of 40 rookies that were there. So we were well represented in that. And then some of the other guys, our five-axle Matt Banish, he finished third. And I believe that that's his third or fourth time at nationals. A lot of them are no stranger. We had Connor Dent there this year. He was national champion in his class in twins a couple of years ago. Mm-hmm. We had two of our guys were in the top 10. One of our rookies was number 18. So I mean there's 50 in their class, so it's huge.
Yeah, and Matt Banish, he was the Wisconsin Grand Champion this year.
Yes, he was.
Yeah, so he carried on, and he did an absolutely great showing in Pittsburgh, and we're so proud of him. And we're proud of all the states that won, the drivers that won Grand Champion, the National Grand. We're so proud of them. It's not. I mean, obviously, we want bragging rights, and we want Wisconsin to do really well, but really, we're pulling for all of them. So in your time and your experience, what tell us a little bit about the Wisconsin Truck Driving Championship. I mean, what is the experience there for you and for the drivers?
So for Wisconsin runs their truck driving championship probably the closest to nationals as anything, with the exception of we don't sequester our drivers so they can spend time with their family, and most everybody sequesters them. But we say if you want to have a family day and enjoy your family day, no cheating, or
right.
we'll go into sequester. But they never want that. They love it. It's a big family day. Their family can see what they do, the best of the best. They have 6 different problems. They have a written test, and they have a pre-trip test where they have to find defects. And these guys, if you've watched, it's almost a thing of like a dance, like a thing of beauty when they go
right.
and do their pre-trip. Boom, 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 under the truck. Just everything, just perfectly. They never miss a thing. And it's timed. And the same thing with when you watch them maneuver the course, and you see that they have to like figure out how not to hit an obstacle. In this instance, they have to go as close to something without hitting it. When in real life they just don't. They want to stay away from stuff from hitting it.
Right.
But this one's they're testing their skills, and it's so. There's blindside backing. There's railroad crossing. This year at Pittsburgh, they actually had, in addition to the railroad, how far back they should stop from the railroad. They also had a construction zone area set up because so we're not speeding through construction zones, and we're doing everything that we need to do to get through everything. All the things that they do in these tests are real life situations that they see on the road,
right.
And they just have to not hit something, get as close to possible as perfect, and then they, with all the points that are added from the first day, and then out of the 49 from each class, the top 5 do a runoff, and then those guys end up, so they have to run again the next day. And nerves, they all think they're not going to have any nerves, and that course looks really simple, and the simple courses are the hardest ones to deal with.
Well, I mean, that's, you bring up so many good points there. Most of us can barely parallel park, and these men and women, they're doing this with very heavy equipment around obstacles that are down to the millimeter. It's impressive to see what they can do. with these large trucks, and they got the twins and the trailers and all of that equipment that's moving, and they have to the math has to start mathing in their head, right? When they get out on the course, they have to figure out exactly, like you said, they typically want to get away from those obstacles, but here they want to get as close as possible, and exactly. that is the key here. And I don't think if somebody were to actually watch what they could do, that's again, it's a skill set that very few people have, and again, that gets back to the professional truck driver that we advocate for. And
it's in order for them to compete, they can't have any accidents. Right. So it promotes safety, and everything about the competition. All these drivers are the safest drivers that we have out there. They're so courteous. It's just unbelievable when you see what they've accomplished and what they do, and the camaraderie out there. It's like I probably know more drivers out there too from different states, and we give each other a hard time, like if they're from Minnesota or Chicago or Illinois.
Well, that's normal.
All competitions against those states are normal. Right.
Well, and I'm glad you touched on that, because it is a competition, but it is a camaraderie. It's a brotherhood and a sisterhood. They're there to obviously find out who the best of the best is, but at the same time, they're pulling for each other, and they want all of them to do well, because they know that it's all going to reflect on the industry and who they are as professional truck drivers, that they understand that when they're there at that competition, that they are the elite. I mean, they are the top. I don't know, you want to say 1%. I mean, it's like less than 1%.
Oh, yeah. I mean, would definitely say
it's an amazing field that they've been able to rise up to, and now they're at that level. So just being at nationals, that in and of itself is a great accomplishment. And there are trophies and certificates and all that kind of stuff. And
we have some of our members help us out by sponsoring the team.
Yeah.
And we get a big banner, and we put their face on the whole banner, each driver, what they did, what class they were in. And the Wisconsin rule is whoever performs the best gets to take the banner home.
Oh.
And they are like, can I have the banner? Well, you got to compete. And I know that in several shops there is a banner hanging up with their faces on it. Yeah. And that's kind of a thing of honors that each year that they get that banner.
Well, it's a source of pride, and we've watched the social media following the National Truck Driving Championship, and the companies they have those drivers with their trophies, and again, they're not always looking for that recognition, but their companies are saying, you are going to accept the recognition. We are going to put you on social media. We're going to talk about you and what a fantastic job that you've done, and how proud we are to have you as one of our top employees, representing not only our state, but our company.
I sat in the sign line, the banner hanging line, because whoever goes first, they get to pick where they want their banner first. Mm-hmm. And I don't want our guys to be off to some corner. I want them to be focused in the middle. So I sat 6 hours in the sign line just so our guys could have the proper placement and the honor that they deserve.
Yeah,
Team
absolutely.
Wisconsin.
Team Wisconsin, absolutely. So we're proud of them. We're always pulling for them, and we hope that they continue to have success at 2027 National Truck Driving Championship,
which will be in Columbus.
Oh, Columbus. Okay,
Columbus.
Very
right.
nice. Yeah, not bad. So, Kim, let's just wrap this up here. We've talked a lot about everything that the professional truck driver does, the recognition that we do through Thank a Trucker, through the Truck Driving Championship. I mean, what do you think it means for the future of the industry, recognizing drivers? I mean, we sort of touched on how they don't look for that type of recognition, but we are going to recognize them. So what does that mean, for the industry going forward, for the younger drivers who are looking perhaps to get into this industry, when there's those opportunities to be recognized as a elite professional driver?
When everybody goes to work in any job, they want to be appreciated. They want a good job. If they are with a company that truly appreciates them, once in a while when they say, hey, I know you went the extra mile, you did the extra thing, thank you, I appreciate it. I know you might have missed your grandson's birthday party, but our customer appreciates it, and I'll make it up to you, and then follow that. If you truly respect them and truly appreciate everything that they do, that's their whole world. That's their whole job.
Right.
We feel the same way. It's just that, they're not in the office every day seeing people. All they have is windshield time to think about what's going on, what they're missing. So sometimes we just need to show them a little love, a little appreciation, and that's going to get them through that day if they're having a bad day on the road that day. Let's just say thank you to everybody. And I like to let people know exactly what the trucking industry means to everybody, not just people in the industry. And the drivers, I know the drivers feel my passion. I know the drivers. I have drivers who were my drivers 30, 40 years ago who still call me. I almost hear from them more on Mother's Day and Christmas is saying Happy Mother's Day, hey mom, because I appreciated them and they knew it, and like driver managers or whatever you have, just show your drivers appreciation. We shouldn't just do it 1 week out of the year or 1 day out of the year.
Right.
It should be a everyday, hey, thanks for doing a great job. They don't expect it,
right,
but it sure does make them feel better.
Well, you touched on something there. When we, us office folk, when we have a lousy day at work, we grumble a little bit, we go home, and, we recharge and we come back and we're fine. A truck driver who has a lousy day at work, that could be an entirely different outcome. And the foundation for the trucking industry is safety. You have done a wonderful job promoting safety in this industry here in Wisconsin, and that's what we're all about. And if the driver is not, if they're not happy at their job, if they don't feel respected or appreciated at their job, that can bleed over into how they act on our highways, and that's an outcome that we don't want to have to experience. So, take care of your drivers. I mean, tell them that every once in a while, they're doing a great job, and we appreciate them. And we're going to tell them that in a few weeks here on September 14th and throughout that week. And it's just it's so important because all of these things, they do tie together.
100%.
Yeah.
Then they can be on the road with a clear head and not be worrying about things, or they'll feel like they can trust you and they can call and talk to you.
Yeah.
And I just think we just need to do more of that, because I hear it from Uber drivers and from whatever.
Right.
I think that they're these big bad wolves that want to run them over in a truck, and that's absolutely not the case.
No. They want to go home too. And they want, more importantly, they want to make sure that everybody else goes home. They're looking out for us out there.
100%.
They're I pass trucks. We all pass trucks on the highway, and my wife kind of looks up at them, and I say, and she gets a little nervous when I pass them, but I say, honey, that is the safest driver on the road right now. I guarantee you, that is the safest driver. What you got to watch out for are these other people who are on their phones,
crazy four-wheelers.
Yeah, just doing things that they shouldn't be doing.
Trooper in a Truck Week.
Yeah,
we stopped 179 people total, cars total. And most of it was texting and driving, no seatbelt, crazy.
Right.
And and we couldn't even get everybody.
Right. And the truck driver knows that not only is that a bad idea to do that, they are strictly prohibited from doing that.
100%.
They can lose their job. They can lose their livelihood for something like that, something that we think, I'll just, I'll send a text message while I'm driving. Who cares? I'm only going 75 miles an hour. Big deal. That's something that does not happen in the trucking industry, and we're so proud of our drivers.
I guess happens a little bit, but not our elite drivers that we have here in Wisconsin.
No, and just to kind of wrap this all up, we talk about our elite drivers. Of course, we've got our President's Safe Drivers Club that we do every year, and we literally recognize hundreds of drivers every year, year after year, for 5, 10, 15, 20, 25 years with no accidents, no citations, no violations, not even in their personal vehicle. I mean,
I wouldn't qualify.
I wouldn't qualify. Yeah, very few of us would qualify. I mean, even a seatbelt violation.
Yeah, exactly.
So, they are out there. They're doing the job 24/7, 365 through all kinds of weather. And we are just taking time to say thank you to the Wisconsin and the American truck driver. We love you so much. You do so much for us. We wish more people would recognize you. We think they are, especially ever since the last few years when things, like you said, grocery stores started becoming empty, and people are just like, where's all this stuff? I'm like, well, it's on a truck.
Yeah.
And it'll get here, but it might take a little bit of time, but it will get here because the truck drivers, they're going to bring it, and they always do.
And if any of your drivers are out there listening, just know that I'm sending you one of my personal hugs to say thank you.
Yeah. Well, Kim, this has been a great podcast. We do a lot of diverse topics, but we felt that this one was really important with National Truck Driver Appreciation Week coming up, and the National Truck Driving Championship being in our rearview mirror right now. It's just a great time to reach out to our drivers if they're listening out there and just say we thank them, we appreciate them, and we respect them. And I don't know where we would be without them. I don't know where we would be. It's an amazing line of work that they do, and we need more of them to do it. And it's an amazing thing that we're just blessed to be a part of. So thank you, drivers. Kim, thank you for your work with all of our drivers.
My pleasure.
Yeah, I know, and she means that. It is her play. It is there are some things that are intangibles in this job, and one of them is getting to spend time with our drivers. So we're looking forward to National Truck Driving Appreciation Week, September 14th. This is going to do it for our podcast for August. We appreciate everybody listening in. Remember, our podcasts drop at the end of every month on Friday. And we're looking forward to the September one. I don't know what the topic's going to be, but we always got something cooking, and we appreciate everybody listening in. And to all of our drivers out there, thank you. Stay safe, and we will see you next time on the road ahead. And a quick thank you to our sponsor, CLA. From strategic consulting to tax, audit, digital, and advisory services, CLA helps organizations make informed decisions and prepare for what's next. Visit CLAconnect.com to learn more.